All right, I think we're about ready to begin. So I want to just welcome y'all. I'm Kevin Foster. I'm associate here at the Colin Powell School. And, we're really happy to see y'all because this is, one of the really fun times we're looking forward to. You are ready to graduate. That's, I not to get too economics, but, this is what's called Pareto optimum, that you want to get out of here, move on to the next stage of your life. We want you to, most of you actually, we want to get rid of. We'd love to make sure you're an alum and get you moved on. Maybe there are some faculty who kind of agree with that, who would love to see the back of you. We're graduation is a wonderful day for so many reasons. Not everybody, of course. There are some that we may decide we love you so much we want you to stay around longer. I'm a little punchy here. Been doing all these Zoom calls for so long. So all right, so we'll walk back. I will unsay all my bad jokes, and because as I'm watching the reactions, I'm seeing some faces are like. All right. So, welcome. We're here for talk about graduation. Now, I know on everybody's mind is probably the biggest question is graduation going to be in person? And I don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, that's really going to be up to Governor Cuomo. And of course, just external events happening. So, we can hope, but I have no idea currently. And, it's going to be a little while even before people have a good enough read to make a final decision on that. So, last year in 2020, graduation was online. The Colin Powell School had a special celebration. I think it was actually really nice. A lot of the people who graduated last year thought it was a really cool ceremony. The video, there's a link I think Herbert had sent around. It's there was the clip when Michelle Obama spoke at graduation. We had remarks from people like Joe Biden who have been kind of in the news a little bit recently. So I mean, it was kind of a nice event. I don't know if we'll have who the lineup of possible guest speakers would be. But we will. One way or another, we will do our best to make sure it's a good ceremony and, it works for you and for family. I mean, one of the advantages of having the online was even, a lot of students were like, more family got to participate, because enough people have family who are, around the world in lots of different places. It sort of broadened the number of supporters who could cheer you on. So it wasn't all bad, but I understand there's a certain, sitting out underneath the sweating under those black robes that we all wear and, coming in with the funny sunburn because the hat kind of has a little V on it, getting that mark of, I mean, there are positive aspects there as well. So, but we will see. All right. So I'm not going to spend much more time talking. I'm just, you're going to hear people talking about essentially before, during, and after graduation, right? Before meaning like the folks who are going to make sure that you are in fact ready to graduate. During, talking about what's going to happen during the ceremony. And then after, right? Because you should be thinking it's not too early. Like, what are you going to be doing afterward? What is your next step? So that's kind of the general plan. And I will pass it off to Herbert Senyoret, who is the senior advisor in the Colin Powell School and, is running the show today for a remainder.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, welcome. And we trust that you and your loved ones are all well during this trying times. We at the Colin Powell School, we are very committed to your success, both your academic success and career goals. And today's event is an effort to enlighten you on the process of getting you graduated. However, as you know, when you graduate, that's not going to be the end of the relationship with CCNY and Colon Power School. We like to continue our relationship but in a positive way. I'm going to pass it on right now to the Associate Registrar, Maria Di Stefano.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I just have a few points to discuss. One of the questions that we get frequently is, what is the difference between graduation and commencement? So graduation is the actual awarding of the degree. And here at CCNY, that occurs 3 times during the year. So we have awarding of the degrees in September 1st. We have awarding of the degrees at the end of the fall semester, which would be then January or February. And then we have the last awarding of the degrees at the end of the spring semester, which would be June 1st. Commencement, as you all know, is the celebration of your accomplishment, and that is just the ceremony. And that is handled by a separate office. One of the next questions we frequently get is how to apply for graduation. All students must apply for graduation, so you would have to submit your form. Since now we've all been online, everything has been done electronically, and you can obtain the form on off our webpage, and it's the application form, application to graduate form. And you could submit that from your CCNY email. There are deadlines in order to apply for graduation. If you are graduating at the end of the spring semester, the application period opens the 2nd Monday of November before the spring semester, and that application period then closes February 28th. So if you're going to be a spring 2021 graduate, the application period will open in a few weeks, and then you have until February 28th. I do not recommend that you wait until February 28th to submit your application. So if you are definitely graduating this spring, please submit your application sooner rather than later. If you are graduating in the summer, the application period for summer graduates begins on April 1st, and all applications have to be submitted by July 3rd. And if you are a fall graduate, if anyone here is graduating this fall, your applications should have already been submitted. And the application period for a fall graduate begins on August 1st and then ends on the 2nd Friday of October. Now, all these deadlines, these dates are specified in the academic calendar. So, you know, for future reference, you can just look at the calendar and search for the dates. There is no application fee for graduation. So once you submit your application, we update it in the system and you are applied. One of the other questions that we do get is, how would you, the student, know if your degree requirements were completed? That process is handled by your academic advisor. So, you know, I recommend that you make an appointment with your advisor to review your curriculum to make sure that you have satisfied everything. Or you can also look into DegreeWorks, run your audit and see what comes out of that audit. And if anything is still lacking or missing, then discuss it with your advisor. Once graduation has been completed and all the certifications have been done, we do send an email to you, the student, letting you know that you have completed all the requirements and the degree for that graduation period will be awarded for you. All our communication goes to your CCNY email only. We do not use your personal emails. And if you have any questions for us, you can also email the office, but it has to come from your CCNY email. If for any reason you find that you will not be able to complete whatever requirements are left for the graduation period that you applied, you can submit a form to withdraw your application for graduation. So that is also on our website. You can look where we have all our forms, and then you can submit that. And then we would take you out of that graduation. And when the next period is open and available, you can then submit your new application for the following graduation period. That's basically it. I'm sure there's a lot of questions, so feel free.
Well,
That's Raz.
yeah, I applied through my CUNY first for graduation.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I did that, I think it was like September 1st, like the first week of September. But then I was told I have to do it again in November, or is that something else?
I'm not sure what you're receiving. You applied for the fall graduation?
Yeah, like this is my last semester now, so
Okay.
I'll be graduating in December. So do I have to redo it, or the fact that I did it in September is good enough?
No, that should be fine. But the email was from the registrar's office asking you to resubmit?
No, it was just an informational thing from SSSP, but they closed, they're not funded anymore. So I don't have really an advisor from SSSP anymore.
What I can do, I can check your name on the list against the list we have, and if your name is not on the list, I'll follow up with you.
Okay, great, because I just got, you know, the confirmation on CUNY first, but I never received like an email stating anything else about it.
So I'll double check on the list to see if you're there. Anyone else?
Oh,
Isabella?
hi.
Yeah, I applied on CUNY first as well, but I didn't have to fill out any forms. And was that the right application, or there is another one?
No, you're correct. You can apply through your CUNY first. But I know a few students had issues, so there was a form you could submit. But typically students apply through CUNY first, and it is routed electronically. So that's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had the same issue. I didn't get any email, but I applied through CUNY first. And it says applied for graduation when I check the status.
So then you are part of this graduating class, but emails regarding if you have completed the requirements would come from your advisor, not from the registrar's office, because they are reviewing your record and they would have the information pertaining to anything that could be missing if it is missing. The email you would receive from us would be at the end, once we're ready to confer the degree, letting you know that the degree is being conferred.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a quick question. So when will we know when the degree is conferred? Like, what will be the time period? So I applied in the, I think, midweek of August. Whenever the first email came out saying go to CUNY first and do it, I think I initially did it, filled out all my information. So what is the timeline for the process from the advisors and from the registrar office?
Well, we have to wait for all grades to be submitted. So your grades may be submitted earlier, but we have to wait for the entire, campus to submit all their grades. So we do all the students at once. Typically, it's not until maybe mid-January when we can definitely let students know if the degree is being conferred, just because it takes, a while for the advisors to go through the grades. There's so many students that they have to review and to make sure that everything is taken care of. I don't know, Herbert, if you have anything to add to that?
I will pass it on to Maria and Adonza, and they'll detail the next step of the process of getting students graduated. Maria, would you like to come on right now?
Yes, sure. Hi. My apologies. I came in, I was having problems with my Zoom connection. These technical things happen, but my apologies. And I just want to say hello and welcome to the first, in fact, Colin Powell School senior class orientation. We had never had one. We've always had it for freshmen, but not for seniors. So I'm glad we are having this year. And basically what I want to do is give you an overview of the process, the degree auditing process. I'll try to be as brief as possible. I don't want to bombard you with a lot of details. It's just to put it within context, so that way, because I heard a couple of the questions that some of you asked Maria Di Stefano. So I'm going to pretty much, I hope I'll be able to answer some of those questions as I go along explaining the process. It'll be an overview. I'm not going to bombard you, like I said, with details. So basically, after the deadline, the degree, the application for degree deadline, which this time was October 9th, we get the list from the registrar's office of all the students in the Colin Powell School who have actually applied for graduation. The list is pretty much divided into the four, the audits are divided into the 4 advisors. We have 4 academic advisors in the Colin Powell School, and each advisor is assigned a group of audits, degree audits. Okay, so when I say degree audits, what does that mean? That means basically that we review your degree works audit, and we review your CUNY First transcript to make sure that all requirements have been fulfilled for the degree or will be fulfilled at the end of this semester. And so that's pretty much what students call a grad check, or grad check or graduation check, right? Graduation check or grad check. It used to be called that way when we were doing that using paper. Now we're doing all this electronically, but students still refer to it as grad check. And basically what happens is I'm going to give you a little bit of the advisor's role, and then I will ask you, because I want you also to become an active participant in the process, and I'll tell you what you can do to kind of work with us and make the process less tedious, and I guess with a happy ending probably for everybody involved. So let me just say, well, the advisor's role, basically after, once we get the list, as I said, each advisor has a group of degree audits to do. We review the records of the students, and once we do that, we basically review to make sure that all the requirements are fulfilled, as I said before. Degree works and CUNY First, the credits must match. I mean, the requirements, as you know, you need a minimum 120 credits to graduate. So we look to see that degree works indicates that you will have 120 credits at the end of this semester with the courses that you're taking now. And the GPA for the major must be at least a 2.0 or higher. Some majors may require higher GPA. Once we do that, that is pretty much the first review. The first review is basically making sure that you have met all degree requirements, that your degree works is in audit, your CUNY First as well. That is the first thing. Then for those students who want to know what happens, so, how do I know? What's the status of my application? What's going on? Basically what happens is if we review your degree audit and everything is on point, and all it's needed for you to graduate is the courses in progress, then we just have to wait for the semester to come to an end, the grades to be posted, and then we will clear you for graduation and send your records over to the registrar so that your degree could be conferred. For those of you, when we do the first review, who have outstanding requirements, what we do is that we email you and we let you know that at the moment you don't meet the requirements for graduation, and we tell you why and what can be done in the meantime to be able to solve that issue. It could be an error. It could be that DegreeWorks has an error, and then once we become aware of it, we can correct it, or a faculty member, if it's a major or a minor, can actually do that. So that's pretty much what happens. And then if in fact you have met all the degree requirements and your degree works is in order, we don't email every single student letting you know, well, upon successful completion, you will graduate, or we really don't have the staffing or the time really to write to everyone and tell you where you are. Only if we see that the student, that you actually have problems and that will prevent you from graduating, we email you to see if it can be resolved. If it's an error, it'll be corrected. If you need to take additional credits or a requirement was not fulfilled, then we will tell you that too. And that's why I said at the beginning that I want to make you an active participant, and this is the reason why. One of the things you can't do, and I just want to go through some points, I don't want to forget them. I'm going to just mention these points. Let's see. Okay. So one of the things you can do right now without having to practice anything, it's really, please look at your degree works audit and CUNY First transcript to make sure that everything is okay and that in fact you are where you're supposed to be according to your own calculations and your own standards. That's one thing. Pay close attention, like I said, to the number of credits. When you look at degree works, you will see that the degree requires 120 credits, and it should also say credits applied 120, which means that at the end of this semester, you will have 120 credits or more. If you have more, that's never an issue. An issue is if you have less. You cannot graduate with 119 credits, but you can graduate with, I don't know, 140, not a problem. That's credit-wise. Keep in mind, like I said, the cumulative GPA must be a 2.0 or better, and the major GPA, please, also has to be a 2.0 or better. The other thing is, when it comes to degree works, if you review your degree audit and it indicates that pathways has not been completed, for example, or maybe the college option has not been completed, and you thought that was all done, obviously you think is an error, please contact us, the advisors in the Colin Powell School. For pathways and college option, we can look at your record and make exceptions and changes or whatever needs to be done if in fact there is an error. If it is major specific, if it's something having to do with a major or the minor, we recommend that you contact a faculty from your major department or your minor department, because if there is an error, they can correct it. And if there is the need for a substitution, an exemption, or another faculty member has given you that exemption or a substitution and is not reflected on degree works, a faculty from that department, could actually go ahead and make those exceptions. We can't, we really don't. We leave it to the experts when it comes to the major and the minor. And the last point I think I want to mention to you is if you have a minor, right, or a second major that along the way you decided, you know what, I'm not going to finish it. I'm not going to complete it. Please drop that minor or that second major. That will prevent you from graduating. Why? Because even if all your requirements are fulfilled, if there is a major, a second major, or a second minor, a minor or a second minor, and it's not fulfilled, then we assume you're going to continue fulfilling it and we can graduate you. So that is the reason. Pay close attention and make sure your document is as accurate as possible and as up to date as possible. I think in a nutshell, that's pretty, I probably went too fast and I gave you too much information, but we'll take some questions at the end. I will ask Aldonza Tejada, another advisor, to bring up some points that perhaps you should also keep in mind when you're reviewing your records to make sure that you will meet all your degree requirements at the end, and we would be happy to certify you for graduation come January once all the final grades are posted. And if in fact you have met all degree requirements, we will clear you for graduation and the registrar will confer your degree. Let me just mention that once the registrar confers the degree in January, I think it's 6 weeks or so after the degree is posted on your CUNY First transcript, not on Degree Works. Please, it's on CUNY First that the degree is posted. Don't look for it on Degree Works because it's not there. It won't be there. When that happens, the registrar will, 6 weeks after the degree is posted on your record, the registrar's office usually emails students to let you know about diploma availability. And that comes from the registrar, not from the Colin Powell School. All right, so let me just pass it on to Aldonza Tejada for her to mention some of the points, and then you'll have a chance to ask me some questions or ask us some questions regarding this process. Okay, Aldonza?
Thank you, Ms. Moran. Good afternoon, everybody. Some of the other points that you guys have to keep in mind when you are looking through your degree works and your transcript are both e-permits and study abroad. If you took e-permits in the past semester, so in the spring semester, and you look at your transcript and you see that the classes that you took are not posted on your transcript yet, you must contact the registrar as soon as possible. Because we can't graduate you guys with pending e-permit grades. And if it's a course that you took, let's say in the spring semester, and it's still not on your City College transcript, then you must tackle that as soon as possible. If you are taking an e-permit this semester, what you have to make sure is that once you, and everyone has access to the other CUNY transcripts via CUNY First. So you can always access the transcript. If you took, let's say, a class in Hunter, you can go to the Hunter transcript. If your grade is posted on the Hunter transcript, but it's not on the City College transcript, what you can do is contact the registrar's office and just let them know that you received a grade for your e-permit course, but that it hasn't been posted on your City College transcript yet. And that speeds up the process, because if you just leave it alone, it might take a little while for the grade to transfer over to the City College transcript, and thus you will not be able to graduate. So only if for past e-permits, only if you don't see it on your transcript, you contact the registrar. For current e-permit courses, you must have a grade for it first before you contact the registrar's office. Similarly with study abroad, nobody went study abroad in the spring semester, but if you took a study abroad, let's say in the winter or maybe the fall of 2019, and you don't see it on your transcript, then you have to contact the study abroad office, and the person in the study abroad office that you contact would be Nineveh Gomez. And then once you alert her of the pending grade, then she will go through all the process and she'll help you get the grade on your City College transcript. To emphasize on Ms. Moran's credits, so you need 120 credits to graduate, and both the GPA for your cumulative and your major have to be at a 2.0 or above, of course. But with that, I want to make sure that any students who have taken repeated courses, make sure, and it's so important, make sure that you double check both your transcript and your degree works. Degree works is pretty decent in picking up the duplicate courses, but it does have its errors. And sometimes it doesn't pick it up. Now, when it picks up a course that, let's say you received a D, a C minus, or even a C, if you took a course, then you got a C and you wanted to get a better grade and you retook it, that still counts, right? So let's say you retook the course and degree works, there's a category called non-contributing courses. Under that category, the duplicate course will be there. And so what degree works does is that it doesn't calculate those 3 or 4 credits into the number of credits that you have in total, because you shouldn't be getting credit for the same class twice. So in that aspect, make sure that DegreeWorks is checking or picking up the duplicate course. For the transcript is not as easy. So let's say you took pre-calculus 205 and you received a grade for it, a D, and then you retake it and you get a C, or let's say an A, better chances, an A. So either in the transcript, you have to look either the first time that you took it, instead of you receiving 4 credits for the class, it will either say 0 and a grade, and then you will have the 4 credits for the class the second time around and the grade. Or it could be that the first time you receive 4 credits and let's say the D grade, but the second time it should be 0 grade, 0 credits and the grade that you received, the higher grade. When it says 0 credits, that means that that course is not counted towards the 120. So you can rest assured that the number of credits that the transcript says you have is really what you have, right? But then if both courses say 4 credits or 4 credits, both of them, that means you have to subtract 4 from the overall 120, right? So what we do when we're looking at your records is that if we see that there is a duplicate course that's counted twice, we subtract whatever amount of credits that course is worth to what you've already earned. So instead of you having 120, if we have to subtract 3 or 4, then you don't have 120. You really have either, 118, well, depending on how many classes you took. So that means you're not eligible to graduate because you don't have the 120 applicable to graduate.
You see AMC? That's right next to it.
The next point that I want to bring up is the residency requirement. And this is more for students who transferred in. The students who came in as freshmen, this doesn't apply to you. It applies to students who transferred in from any other college to City College. So the residency requirement at City, it means that there's a certain number of credits that you have to take at City College, not counting what you transferred in. So the residency requirement is either 80 credits that you have to take at City College, or your last 30 must be taken at City College. So if you see that you only took 24 credits at City College, then you're not eligible. Even though you may have 120 credits at the end of the semester, if you've only taken 24 credits at City College, you have to be here for longer and take those 30 credits at City College because it's a college-wide process. You have to have 30 credits. For your major, the residency requirement is at 60% of the major has to be taken at City College. So the same thing applies. If you didn't take the 60% of the major, then you have to keep on taking major courses until you reach the 60%. And if you have, if any of this residency requirement is you're wondering, about it today, if you have any questions, we might have to answer them on a one-on-one basis because it depends. Everybody has different transfer credits. If you have an associate's, if you only brought in 30 credits or whatever it may be, you can always make an appointment with us and we'll check. The last point that I want to bring up is incomplete grades. I know that some students have incomplete grades still for the spring 2020 semester. You have until December 23rd. However, do not wait until December 23rd because December 23rd is the very, 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 very last day. And that's when the incomplete grade, which technically isn't a grade, turns into an F. So it will turn into an FIN on December 23rd. That means if you have an incomplete from the spring semester, you must contact your professor as soon as possible to figure out why you have the incomplete if you didn't even know that you had an incomplete. What you can do if you have to take a test, if you have to write a paper, if maybe your grade was low and they wanted to give you another chance to increase your grade, but you have to speak to the professor first in order to get a grade for the incomplete. So let me check my notes. Let me make sure. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for my notes. So you guys can ask any either Ms. Moran or myself any questions.
Well, Listen to maybe ask the questions last so that we can move on to today's section because the time is running out. So
Okay.
we have them post the questions and then we'll move on to the next section. And a major component with graduation is taken care of with student life. They're not able to be here today, but they posting information on the website. I just posted the website here. So things like graduation pictures, your cap and gown and ring, that information comes from student life. And if you follow the link from the website here, you can get that information. I'll pass it on right now to Ms. Shalinda Abasi, the manager of the Dean's office, to give an overview of what happens from the Dean's office. Yep.
Forgot you all muted me. Hi, I'm Charlene, the administrative manager in the Dean's office. Although my job revolves around coordinating, overseeing, and or performing a wide variety of administrative support for the Deans, one of the highlights of my job is coordinating the divisional graduation for the last 8 years. Our main goal, and I use the word our because it is a team effort, is always to ensure students and their families come away from commencement with a lasting, really lasting memories of their graduation. The questions I usually get from students from now until next graduation is usually, how many tickets do I get? Will I be able to get extra tickets? If more family members show up the day of graduation, will they be allowed in? And last graduation, when COVID hit, it was, are we going to have a graduation? The answer to most of those questions are, you are given 3 tickets for family members up front. Once students who've RSVP'd have collected their tickets, if we are able to accommodate the request for additional tickets, we will do that. We try our best to ensure no family members left outside if they turn up the day of commencement. Even though, as Kevin said, we're uncertain as to what 2021 graduation would look like, be assured that we will have some sort of memorable ceremony. I'm going to share the link for our last divisional ceremony as well as the CCNY main graduation so that you can see, although it was online, the students, the family members, faculty and staff, they totally enjoyed the ceremony and came away with great memories. You will start getting emails about the Colin Powell School graduation around the end of March, early April, and I ask that you pay close attention to those. They are sent to your CCNY email address, so you have to pay close attention when they come and respond from those addresses. Okay, I think somebody put in the chat just now something about honors codes. The honors given out through the Dean's office. And normally I get that list and I distribute the honors codes the day that people are collecting their tickets. If we go virtual again, it will be that you will have to collect your honors codes once we are back on campus.
Thank you very much, Shane. I'm going to pass it on right now to President Deborah Cheng and Asif Hassan. As I said, our relationship with you doesn't end when you graduate, but they are the ones who prepare you in terms of internships and how you prepare yourself to be successful in whatever career path you go on. So I pass it on to Debbie.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I just lost internet connection right then. So I'm going to share my screen. We have a short presentation that we're going to go through. Oops. Sorry. All right, I hope everyone can see this. Hi, everyone. So I'm Debbie Chang. I'm the Director of Fellowships and, oh, sorry, I don't know what's happening. Having some technical problems here. Anyway, I'm the Director of Fellowships. I'm joined by Ashif Hassan, who is our private partners, Ashif, what's your title?
Corporate Partnerships Coordinator.
Corporate Partnerships Coordinator. Sorry about that. You know, I'm having some real internet problems. So is this working?
I have it up if you'd like. Do you want me to share it?
It's working? Oh my God.
Okay. Okay, let me try sharing it myself. 1 second.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. My internet just decided to act up.
No, you're fine. Okay.
Okay. So, hey everyone. Okay, let's start over. So I'm Debbie, this is Ashif, and we're here to talk to you about, you know, life after college. So first of all, congratulations on almost being done with college. We know that this is super exciting, but also maybe a little bit daunting. So one of the things you might be considering is going to graduate school. And so Ashif, if you could turn to the next slide. Oh no, I think I'm totally frozen. Am I frozen?
Not anymore.
Okay, sorry. So for those of you who are thinking about going to graduate school, my biggest piece of advice is not to rush into it. I say this as somebody who immediately went into a master's program out of undergrad. And in retrospect, I wish I had taken the time to explore my options and think about what I really wanted to study. So do your research, talk to people with the degrees that you're considering pursuing, ask them and yourself how these degrees helped them shape their careers. Often advanced degrees do open doors, but you know, you want to be deliberate about this decision. So think about your values and what you want to do in an ideal world. Like, how do you want to spend your days? And would you be happy in a grad program next year? So be honest with yourself, you know, and think about these things. Of course, you know, you want to consider things like cost and location. You know, think about like the pursuit of learning as a benefit that maybe is intangible, but should go into your thinking. So next, identify potential programs. Oh, sorry, actually, I'm still on the first slide. Thank you. So identify potential programs. You know, a lot of City College students tend to stay in New York, which is totally understandable, but the world is really big, and I encourage you to go and explore some of it, especially while you're young. So think broadly about programs that might take you to cool places or give you different experiences. Do your research by attending webinars and speaking to department staff and alumni of the programs that you're interested in. And if you don't plan on applying immediately, you'll definitely want to stay in touch with professors, with supervisors and mentors, anyone that can help you write recommendations in the future. So you can do this, you know, by emailing your professors periodically, giving them updates about what you're up to. People love to hear from their former students, so we encourage you to maintain these relationships even after you graduate. The recommendation letters vary. You know, typically it's like 2 or 3. It really varies depending on the program. So when you're ready to apply to graduate school, maybe some of you already are in this boat, I recommend starting early. You know, I suggest planning at least 6 months in advance of deadlines. Once you narrow down the programs that you're going to apply to, make sure that you note the deadlines and requirements of each program. If you have to take things like standardized tests, you know, like the GRE and the LSAT, definitely take a few months to study for them. You can take practice tests. You might even consider enrolling in a prep class. Make sure you register for the test. You know, this is something people often don't think about, but they do book up. And you might even want to give yourself the option to take the test again before the application deadline approaches. Then you want to start working on things like your personal statement and any other essays that are required for your application. And again, this really varies based on what you're applying to. But oftentimes you'll be asked to do a personal statement. So you'll want to tell a story about yourself and why you want to pursue this particular degree. So for instance, you know, if you're applying to law school, what is it about the law that interests you? Maybe this is tied to your family circumstances, or maybe it's something that you learned about in college that really piqued your interest. Or maybe it's, you know, most likely it's a combination of the above. So you have to convince the reader in your personal statement and your essays that you're bringing something valuable and interesting to the program. So as for recommendation letters, you know, make sure you give your recommenders plenty of lead time. I suggest at least a month, preferably 2, because professors are super busy, right? So give them drafts of your personal statement and other materials. This will help them write their letters. And send reminders and updates so that you ensure that they're submitting their letters on time. And lastly, ask for help. So the Writing Center is a really great resource, especially for things like your personal statement. You can also ask for advice from your peers, from your professors, your mentors. You know, it's often difficult to just keep staring at the same document that you're revising over and over. So it's always good to get a fresh set of eyes and, you know, use that to help you improve your work. So I'm going to turn this over to Ashif right now.
All right, thanks, Debbie. Can people still see my screen, the presentation? Yeah? Okay, I'm just looking at my notes. So I want to make sure that that's still up. So while some of you are going to decide to attend grad school right after finishing your degree, a lot of you are going to be interested in going right into the workforce. And looking at this call, I think some of you already have a job lined up right after graduating. So congratulations to those folks, and congratulations to everyone here who is graduating either in December or in May. You're at the final stretch, so that's great. Many of you already know what you want to do right after graduating and have a plan, and that's fantastic. But for those of you who don't, these are some of the questions that you can ask yourself and sort of view as a guide as you're conducting your job search. So when you're looking at a job post, ask yourself what sort of issue areas that you're interested in. And to name a few, they might be public policy, women's rights, education, or economic development. Next, do you want to work a 9-to-5 role, or do you want to do something a bit less conventional? How much do you want to be making, and where do you want to be located? These questions are basically going to help you narrow your search a bit as you're figuring out what sorts of roles fit you. And as you're doing this job search, it's also really important that you do a thorough research on the companies that you're really interested in applying for. That means checking out their website, understanding the organization's purpose and model, and really using LinkedIn as a resource to find professionals in that organization, and learning about them and their background. So this is really what sets you apart from the rest of the applicants. And needless to say that, you know, the job market is really tight right now, and things are a bit tougher. So employers are really focusing much more on candidates that are taking it seriously, have a genuine interest in the organization, and really want to be part of it. Okay. I think most folks know what a resume and cover letter is, but for those of you who don't, a resume is a document that lists your education background, your work experience, and skill sets in basically 1 to 2 pages, which I think most of you already have. Cover letters, on the other hand, are really critical to your job application. It's a chance for you to introduce yourself and demonstrate your values and to the organization. And each cover letter should be tailored to the position or organization that you're applying to. Your goal is to stand out from the other applicants, to persuade them that you're a potential employer, and you want to persuade them to review your job materials and invite you for an interview. So Debbie and I have both worked on a ton of resumes and cover letters over the past couple of months, and we find that a lot of them have grammatical errors. Your cover letter and your resume is the first impression that you give off to an employer, right? So, and we don't want your application to suffer if an employer notices a grammatical error, a little bit of sloppiness, or poor sentence structure, and that's not a good representation of you. It's not something that you really want to sleep on. So we really suggest you check out some of the resources that are on campus. And these are just to list a few. So CPDI, if you sign on to your CCNY Career Connections page, you can schedule an appointment with an advisor, and they can go over your resume and also check over your work too. Definitely meet up with the Writing Center. The best thing about the Writing Center is that they'll plan out your cover letter. They'll help you revise it and draft it. They won't do it for you, obviously, but they'll guide you on the steps that you need to do in order to get it completed. City Tutors is an amazing resource. I think they were part of CCNY before, but now they're their own nonprofit and their own 501c3. They provide one-on-one support to students on their job materials, and they also have professionals that work with them and are willing to mentor students that are interested in their job fields. So that's a resource that you can check out, and I'll be sure to provide the links for these once I finish up. And something that we launched recently is our career handbook. And our career handbook basically goes over some of the basic things that you need to know about career development. So we have information about resumes, cover letters, interviewing, networking, and writing professional emails. And I think it's a great resource for folks that just want to get started and figure out where they want to, what they want to do. That's on our main webpage. Continue networking and connecting with your peers, your mentors, and professors. They probably know about opportunities that you might be interested in, and they might be even be willing to recommend you or provide you with some resources. So they're a great asset, and they're great people to continue to keep in touch with. And prepare for interviews. We all know that interviews are super nerve-wracking. We've all been there, and the best way to prep for them is just practice. So you can practice with your peers. If you connect with City Tutors or CPDI, they're willing to do practice interviews with you or mock interviews with you, and you can sort of hone your skills that way as you're going along, and hopefully you'll be ready by the time that you're there for the actual interview. So here's some additional resources. So we have a CPS LinkedIn group. It's called Colin Powell School Student Career Opportunities. And this is where Debbie and I post all of the job and internship opportunities that we find out about. Debbie posts more opportunities with regards to like the public service and opportunities, and I post more about private sector roles. We also do a bunch of resources and tips to assist with career and professional development. So I'll be sure to put that link in there. If you haven't joined already, that's a good place to start, just to start looking for jobs and doing your search. CCNY Career Connections, which we've already spoken about. And then there are a bunch of other sites, Idealist, Indeed. LinkedIn also has a ton of job postings from employers too, which we really recommend. If you have questions for us, you can email cpspostings@gmail.com. If you have more questions regarding the public sector service opportunities, you can email Debbie Chang at dchang@ccny.cuny.edu, or me for private sector opportunities at ahassan1@ccny.cuny.edu. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I will post those links into the chat, and I hope it works. Well, the emails are a little bit goofy, but everything else seemed to work fine. All the links that I've spoken about, if City Tutors, CPDI, with the exception of the Writing Center, which I've added in there, are all on our main webpage. So we really recommend you checking those out. And that's it from me.
Hey, thank you, Asif and Debbie, for sharing your expertise, and to all the other presenters. We're scheduled to end at 1:30. However, if folks are willing to save a couple more minutes to ask questions, we can make ourselves available for another 10 minutes so you can maybe ask questions. Winrich had a question.
My question was this: if we were to contact any of our advisors just to make sure, just to cross-check our transcript and our degree works, how would we go about emailing them?
Yeah, the information, if you go to the Colin Powell website, all our information is actually available there for you to make appointments and also to email us.
So we
Have you
email
visited
anyone?
the Colin Powell website?
Yeah, but I was making sure because you said that you got all the students are broken up into groups and specific counselors have specific people. So
no, what you should do, because you're not, this is not something that the students know. What we recommend that you do is that when you email us, address the email to the 4 advisors, and so that the person who's actually doing your audit will follow up with you. Just when you address it, just address it to the 4 advisors, each one of us, and we'll respond. Whomever has your audit will review it and follow up with you. Does that answer the question?
yes, it does.
Okay.
I just posted the link to the Conferral Schools Advising Office, and you can set up a calendar appointment or a Navigate appointment, or you can email us. Amna had a question.
Okay, I also have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just not clear. I'm graduating in December, and I'm not clear on the handing out of the degree ceremony. That's, I guess, smaller. Is that in, like, I'm getting a psychology degree. Would that be within that department? Can I invite people? I don't know if it would be virtual or if they're smaller, so maybe we could socially distance. So I'm not, could you explain more about that?
Are you referring about the ceremony in January? Because we only have one commencement a year, right, and that's in June.
I'm talking about the ceremony in January.
No, there is no ceremony in January. There's only one ceremony. There's one commencement for at CCNY, and that's always in June. So the students who graduated, for example, this September 2020, the students who will be graduating January 2021 and February 2021, which is your group, and the other graduating class, the June 2021 graduating class, those 3 classes are invited to the June commencement.
I understand that. I'm asking about the handing of the degree.
When you say handing the diploma, the actual...
Okay, you said that it happens 3 times during the year, on September 1st, the end of the semester in January and February, and on 6/1. I thought there was a separate little ceremony to get your degree.
No, unfortunately,
that was not clear at all what you said. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's never been the case at City College. It's only one ceremony a year. However, your degree, obviously, your degree will be awarded at the time when you apply for graduation for that particular degree date. But the actual commencement, the ceremony with the family, inviting everyone cap and gown and all that, only happens in June. So yeah, we don't have smaller.
And there's no handing of the degree ceremony like they do at other schools that are small.
Yeah, no.
Just a big commencement and you get your degree in the mail or whatever.
Exactly. It's not handed to you, during commencement. No. It's given. You will be notified by registrar at a later date when the diploma is available for pickup.
Okay. Yeah, I know that was Maria Stefano.
Oh, Stefano? Oh.
Yeah, but I just want to let you know that was really unclear. I was all excited thinking I would be able to do a little small thing.
Sorry.
That was super unclear. Okay, thanks.
Okay, sorry.
Maria, would you like to add anything?
Sure. Those dates, I just posted it in the chat. Those dates refer to the conferral dates that will appear on your degree. So if you're a summer graduate, your diploma is dated September 1st. If you're a fall graduate, your diploma will be dated January 1st. And if you're a spring graduate, your diploma is dated June 1st. Diplomas are not available for pickup. We don't hand them out anymore. There is a new process now that's being put in place. They will be mailed out to students, and you will receive communication when the time comes regarding the diploma to verify your address, your mailing address.
Maria,
yes.
This is basically happening now because of COVID, because,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we are not able to be in the office and hand them out, but also going forward, there is a company now that we are working with that will be mailing out the degrees to the students. So it'll be a little more organized because we've been doing everything manually. But once this fall class, once it's time for them to verify their mailing address and everything, we will send an email communication out to them, letting them know.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Amna had a question next. Amna, would you like to go next?
Yes, sir. Hi. I'm actually taking an e-permit for a 4-credit class at BMCC, and on my degree works, the e-permit class is coming under non-contributing grades and pending permit courses. So I just wanted to know, my degree work says that I have 117 credits applied. Is that going to be a problem for me?
You want to answer? I don't know. Well, e-permit, if you want to go ahead and answer, Tejada, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, usually e-permits will always be under the non-contributing because you don't have a grade for it yet. So the 117 is what you have without the e-permit. So once the e-permit comes in, then you'll have the 120. So it would be an issue if the grade for the e-permit isn't on your City College transcript by the time that we have to submit the documents to the registrar's office.
Okay. Is there like a deadline that I should be aware of? So as soon as the grade gets posted on CUNY First, I can reach out to the registrar?
Our deadline is January 6th, I believe, right? January 6th?
I think so. I think so. Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miguel, will let you go next? We can't hear you.
Oh, he's muted. You're muted, Miguel.
Oh, sorry about that. I have a question about graduate registration, but not degree.
Okay.
What's
the question?
Hi. I'm sorry. I'm in a doctor's appointment now. My question is about registration, non-degree graduate courses.
If it's a non-degree, you will have to get it. Obviously, you have to get permission from that department in which you want to take the course in, because you're not, a matriculated student, right? You will be a non-degree, so you will need permission to make sure that you've met the prerequisite, and then you will be allowed to take the course. You can't automatically do that. You have to get permission
From the department at the graduate level?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Because you're not one of their students, they can't automatically just place yourself at the course. You have to be given permission.
And I haven't got the bachelor's yet either.
And you what?
I don't have the bachelor's yet.
So are you talking about when you finish the bachelor's degree or?
Yeah, this is my last semester.
Right. So when you finish, you won't have it, but you will actually, your degree will be, hopefully will be conferred. And so you'll be able, once the degree is posted, you'll be able to confirm that you've graduated, and the department will let you then register for the course.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Next up, Anela.
Hi, I have a question.
Hi. My question.
I wasn't aware of this appointment. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My question was that I repeated a class under my major, and it's showing up as double credits. But when I take that out, it goes from 58 to 54. But I took all the classes under my major. So I don't know if that's gonna, like, the problem that it's gonna pose.
You should probably, I don't know, what in your particular case, it would be wise to probably connect with us. I don't want to give you an answer just, across the board like that, and rather connect with us. We can review your record and tell you exactly what we see. And don't get nervous right now. Just, connect with us and we'll review it, and we'll take it one step at a time. But yes, I would say reach out to us.
Should I email you guys all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, make sure you include your ample ID, because sometimes students nowadays communicate with us and they say, hi, I'm Maria. Can you look up my record? I'm like, okay, Maria, my goodness, there are thousands of Marias. So anyway, just make sure you give us your full name and ample ID when you connect with us, okay? So that we can look up your record.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. How are you?
Good.
I already applied for graduation, and let's just say there was a class I didn't do too well about a year ago. Let's just say I decide to repeat it next semester. would that be as a non-matric student, being that I'll have my 4-year degree, or would that be as a regular city college student?
Are you planning to take the course after you graduate? In other words, you're going to graduate. Are you planning to graduate and then retake it as a non-matriculated student?
Yeah,
Or
that's
you're
my
planning
question.
to,
Would it be as non-matric tuition rate? Because I want to be a nurse eventually, and I already applied to future schools, but math was an issue with me in this school. So there's a course that I may have to possibly repeat before actually leaving, so that I won't have to do another entrance exam in that other college. So that's my question. Would I have to take it as a non-matriculated student, being that I finished a 4-year degree, or would it be as a regular city college student?
It will really be up to you. If you want to take it as a non-matriculated student, you will have to, let's say, graduate first, get your degree, your bachelor's degree, and then take the course as a non-matriculated student. That's one option. You can postpone your graduation and register for the course, retake it, knowing that those credits will not count. You're just doing it to get a better, to show that you've gotten a better grade. And then you will pay this, I guess, this regular tuition as opposed to non-matric tuition. But that will entail canceling or postponing your graduation for now. Take the course in spring and then graduate in spring as opposed to January.
Okay, so the only difference would be the conferral date would display June instead of January. That's the only difference.
Right,
Okay.
because you will cancel graduation. You'll take your course and then reapply for graduation for June. And your diploma will say June 2021 as opposed to January 2021.
Okay, now for canceling that graduation, who do I have to, the registration?
Registrar, if you go to their website, it actually shows you, I think it's under graduation planning. There is a tab there that you actually click and it tells you cancellation of graduation. There is a form which you can fill out and submit it.
All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions?
Yes.
You're good. With Fernando.
I have under the CUNY skill assessment requirements that I'm missing the CUNY math, but I already took applied statistics back in 2015. So who should I contact about that? The Colin Powell or my academic advisor from SIG program?
Well, we can look up, you can connect with your SEEK advisor and they can actually tell you if in fact that's already fulfilled. But if it's one of the skills assessment, it's probably an error. Probably, I'm gathering, an error on DegreeWorks, and we can fix it. But you will have to connect with us for us to review your record and see if in fact it is an error or what's going on.
Okay, I will be emailing you guys. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
We have time for one more question. Anybody else?
That's it.
That's it. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity for thanking the students and all the presenters. And this is our first endeavor in having a senior orientation, and the information I think that gathered today is very valuable for moving forward. Again, thank you everyone for participating and sharing your knowledge. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Stay healthy and stay safe. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.